Hey guys, it's Sam Killen, sweating my ass off in my little studio. I wanted to talk about my latest release, which is a sample pack called LK Meat and Potatoes. It's a drum sample pack and it's by far my biggest one yet. It's also linked in the description. And so let's cut straight into this. Here's what we're going to be getting into in this video. We'll be looking through some of the loops and one-shots from the pack. We'll be testing them out in a practical way over a melodic sample. And then I'll be showing you a few tips on how and where I uploaded my sample pack. So we're talking like after the creative process as well. Sharing your beats with the world. Hopefully all this will help inform your decision if you're planning on making a sample pack anytime in the future. Or maybe you have like a full-on finished sample pack at this point and you just don't know where you want it to live. And I mean like outside of your hard drive. And of course, to finish the video, we're gonna be going out on a track that features drums for Meat and Potatoes. This track. The track's called Dad Rock, so I mean like, come on. In terms of the platform that I'm using, Sellfy, this is a 100% unsponsored opinion. And about the pack itself, it's definitely my biggest one yet. It's the most expansive. 100% live acoustic drum loops and samples that I myself recorded at a professional studio. It has like an authentic old school Motown, funk, indie sort of vibe to it, with some other genres in there as well. In other words, it's diverse. I brought those stems back to my own studio, picked which beats worked best, and further processed it with gear that I have in my own studio, in a very, shall we say, vintage and dirty way. Anyways, I could talk this pack up forever, but I think it's best that we check it out. I think that the samples will speak for themselves. So we'll check out a few samples soloed. I'm going to turn the click on because in past YouTube videos where I featured loops and samples, those sorts of things, people have straight up told me that they will be stealing my samples, as in like they left that in the comments. Like, can you believe that? We have all the loops from the pack on the right here, 1 to 29, and then within each loop there's a few different variations of beats to choose from. So for example, I'm gonna put all 4 of these in a row and I'll show you all the different variations within the beat. So we have like a solid core structure, we'll call it, within this beat, but there's some subtle variations from one loop to the next, and that's kind of what a live drummer sounds like. Unless he's going like absolutely ballistic, in which case you won't hire him. Let's check out another one. Let's go to loop 4. Once again, that core structure is always there with a few little fill variations, maybe some rhythmic variations as well. That's what this pack is all about. So let's take a look at the one-shots. I've actually organized them in a very interesting way. I basically ran everything through a cassette player, the Tascam Porter Studio 424 MK2. And so there's 3 different tape speed variations. There's slow, there's normal tape speed, and then there's fast. So you have like 3 different pitches for each drum. And obviously this is something that you could do in pretty much any DAW, but it's not the same. It's not the same as pitching through analog gear, especially cassette. There's a certain like thumpiness to it. You'll see. So what you just heard is 4 floor tom velocities followed by the same thing pitched down. So obviously this gives you more variation and it's a lot easier to find which tom works in your mix. Let's do the same thing for snare. That's all the same snare drum from the same session, tuned in different ways, and then afterwards pitched through the Tascam Porter Studio 424 MK2. Let's take this to the next step. I'm gonna give you even more insight into the sample pack. We'll try a few different grooves over the same sample and see which one works best. And this is a really practical way of testing out the kit because oftentimes this is how I would start a track. This is what sparks ideas for me. This is the sample that we're going to be working with. The cool thing about this sample is that it's MIDI, so it'll actually change tempos when I drop new beats into it. We're going to take a shot in the dark here. Let's go with loop 12, and we'll change the tempo to 59. That sample is obviously way too slow now, so let's double the tempo, 59, like this. That's awesome. There's definitely something there. Okay, let's try another one. How about loop 16? Let's try that. Ooh, I like that. It's got a bit of a swing to it. One last one. There's actually one that I'm thinking that would sound good with this. Loop 4. This is like the only chuggy indie rock one in this whole pack, so might as well try it out. That's like a nostalgic beat for me. It reminds me of my indie rock days. So yeah, this definitely takes us into a different realm. This gives you a whole idea of what this pack is all about. Now we'll take a look at Sellfy, which is the platform where this pack lives. And I'll get into why I chose it. Sellfy really stood out as the cleanest and simplest platform to use, and that's why I went with it. This is my landing page. It obviously helps to have consistent branding as well, but it doesn't really get much cleaner than this. I officially released Meat and Potatoes today, and I've never gotten this much engagement from a sample pack. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a consumer. This pack looks nice. Click. Okay, so the pack is royalty free. That's nice. 100% live acoustic drum loops. Okay, we've gone over that. There's 170 drum loops, 93 one-shots, choice of 3 different tape speeds. So anyways, yeah, you have just like a full description here. Another cool little feature is this link right here, which brings you to SoundCloud. This is a perfect way of featuring your samples in tracks that you've composed. So let's take a look at Nashville meets Lo-Fi. These drums sound good. Add to cart. I'm actually planning on featuring this pack in a few more tracks this coming week. I will say that the link is a little bit hidden, but it just helps to notify your audience in the description. So I've written it right here. Check link above for SoundCloud samples. This is a great tool for people who are just starting out making sample packs. If no one really knows who you are, it might be tough to make a sale or a download. So having a really solid track that features your samples will take the consumer one step closer to actually downloading. Just make sure that the track is solid though. Another huge plus with Sellfy is that they track the emails of every single person that downloads your samples. This is a huge game changer because having a solid email list will help promote your content. Whether it's another sample pack, videos, maybe new music, just make sure you don't get too spammy with it all because people will get fed up with that. Word of mouth goes pretty far in the sample music making community, and I've heard nothing but good things about Sellfy. And it seems to be the platform of choice for the top sample makers around and also for a bunch of smaller artists. As I mentioned before, I'm a very new Sellfy user, so that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It seems that there's not much else to say about it because it's that simple of a platform, and that's the beauty of it. And that concludes this sample pack video. If you've made it this far, you're awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around to the end to watch the full SP404 version of my track, Dad Rock, which features drums from Meat and Potatoes. There's a link to this pack in the description for anyone who's interested in checking it out. If you're into this sort of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, maybe even share. It really helps out my channel when you do that. I see you, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Liam, out.